All right, time now for my Prime News Legal Dream Team. Joining us tonight, family law attorney Janelle Weinstein and criminal defense attorney Joseph Dibenedetto. Our first story, thank you both for joining us, is Brian David Mitchell. Is he sane or insane? He's a self-proclaimed prophet on trial in Utah for allegedly kidnapping Elizabeth Smart. Now, the prosecution claims that Mitchell knows exactly what he's doing and gets into character before court to appear crazy. Now, earlier today on In Session on our sister network, True TV, I spoke with David Talley, former psychiatric technician who testified in the trial. He observed Mitchell in jail, and I asked him if he ever saw Mitchell do that.
He came back from court one day, and after I had heard that he had been, thrown out of court for singing, I asked him, why would you do that? He talked a little bit about how he wasn't going to be involved in the system, that it was a corrupt and evil system, and that the most important thing he could do was stand up to the system. And I told him, isn't this your opportunity then to, this is a pretty high-profile thing. Isn't this your opportunity to kind of stand up against the corruption and give your story? And he said he wouldn't be involved. And I said, you're going to be kicked out for singing, so why do you do it? He goes, that's why I do it.
Unbelievable, and the jury heard that as well. Janelle Weinstein, not only is this guy competent in my eyes, but this guy clearly knows the difference between right and wrong and puts on a show for everybody.
I agree wholeheartedly, Viddy. I mean, he's contrived. He knows exactly what he's doing. And we all know the standard for him to be able to say he shouldn't be responsible because he's mentally ill is that he's incapable of distinguishing between right and wrong. And just by that mere conversation, we know he knows what he's talking about, and he's completely contrived.
Joseph, got to ask you, I also asked David Talley, who observed this guy all the time, and he says, you know what? He never even talks about religion, this guy. That's all made up. Does this guy have any chance of convincing a jury that he's not guilty by reason of insanity?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. I will say this.
What's the answer?
As a defense attorney, sometimes you're stuck with the facts of the case, and you can only do so much. You can only work with the facts of the case. So my heart goes out to this defense attorney. He's bringing forth the only defense that there is, and that is that whether or not this defendant has a mental illness. That's an issue for the jury to decide. He's doing his best to try and bring this defense.
I'll tell you what, Joseph,
to light.
I'm reading between the lines that you're telling me, and it sounds like they have no chance here. Janelle Weinstein, here's the other part of it, is that what this man did to this young girl and the way he hid her from the public tells me he knew he was up to no good.
Oh, yeah, he planned it. If we all remember, he went into their house. He broke into the girl's room. And that's not an easy thing to do, even though he knew the family. He transported her over state lines. He had it all calculated. He had the tent. He had a place where she was going to be temporarily. So we know he could distinguish between right and wrong. And I think, like Joseph said, this is the best that they can do. And they've got to put it out there, but they're not going to be successful.
I don't want to blame the defense attorney. I don't blame the defense attorneys for any of this, but we got to look at the facts here, and the facts are the facts, Joseph.